Welcome. Can you smell the coffee? My guest is a latte artist. I love the sound of that. Laua Erdman, thank you so much for being with us. I appreciate
Grateful
it.
to be
All right.
here.
Oh, you have very warm hands. Mine are cold. All right. So how did you start with your love of coffee?
Well, it first started in 2008 when I moved out to San Francisco, which is, as we know,
A mecca.
the coffee capital of America. And I really got a taste for coffee in different independent coffee shops and establishments. And I really found my place there. I just really enjoyed that they put an emphasis on community and local
Organic
events
beans and things like that?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So when was it that you decided to be an artist and really get into the coffee and express yourself in foam, I guess, or latte?
One of the coffee shops I worked at was Awaken Cafe, and they actually trained me on a competitive level, and I found that I really enjoyed the technical aspect of learning how to dial in espresso and perfecting your foaming technique. And yeah, I just kind of fell into it and fell in love.
So there's science behind it.
Yes,
the
there's
foam
absolute science behind it.
I mean, if it's not the right texture, it's not going to work.
Exactly.
So let's get into it. So I've just ordered a cappuccino or a cafe latte, whatever. So do your thing, because I want to see the art.
All right.
So first you grind the beans. What kind of beans do we have?
We have been provided, thankfully, with all this equipment by Give Coffee. Right now, I believe this is the Star Breather blend. This is a Nicaraguan blend.
Can you tell the difference right away?
Oh, yeah.
Just by the smell of coffee?
Well, not by the smell of coffee,
just the taste.
But the tastes, you can definitely pick up different notes from different origins, for sure. I feel like this one tends to be a little bit more on the nutty side, almost like molasses.
It sounds like you're describing a wine.
Yes, it's exactly
it's similar,
like wine.
Right? Or a beer or all of that.
Yeah.
All right, so let's have at it. So
all
you
right,
grind
let's
it up.
get to it.
All right.
So first you take your portafilter off.
Okay, I didn't even know what that was called.
Yes, this is the portafilter.
Okay.
You just want to make sure this is dry.
There'll be a quiz. All right.
And thankfully, this machine actually measures out each dose perfectly, so you really get consistent espresso each time. And then you tamp it down with a tamper there.
See, I said stamp. You tamp. Okay.
Yes, this is the tamp. And this roast in particular calls for about 30 seconds of a pull time.
What does pull time mean?
There. That's how long you want to kind of brew the espresso for into your coffee cup.
It's so quick.
This is actually really quick.
Alrighty. So that was to just get ready.
Yeah, that was just to kind of like warm up.
Okay. See, there's so much into this. People just order a cup of coffee and they think it's so easy, but it's not. All right.
Because beans change all the time. You could dial it in, and then the weather changes, and
so moisture plays a role in this.
Plays a big role.
All right. So here we go. That measures it out.
There we go.
And then you tamp it. Just a little.
You're going to want to kind of apply an even amount of pressure.
Okay.
Just enough.
Did I do that right?
Perfect.
Okay.
You did a great job. All right. So let's pull that again.
Right now you're working at Grano Arso in Chester.
I'm working at Grano Arso. I'm a server there. Yes.
And making the cappuccinos and the espressos.
I make a lot of cappuccinos, espressos.
Restaurant in Chester. They make their own pasta, their own bread.
We're very seasonally inspired. We source from as many local farms as possible, so we strive for more sustainable practices.
And I think everybody
supporting
loves that
the community.
Days. Right. It's all about that.
Exactly.
All right, so it's warmed up.
So there we have it.
Okay.
That's kind of your perfect espresso pull.
All right. And then something goes on top of it eventually, but this is just the espresso.
Yeah, that's just the espresso right now.
So now let's go to fancy.
All right, let's go to fancy.
Okay.
So I'm just going to heat up my cup.
So that's important to do, to have that hot.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm going to pull another espresso.
There's a lot
for
of
you.
taking the coffee out of that thing. How many cappuccinos could you make in, let's say, 10 minutes?
In 10 minutes,
Did you do quite a few?
I could probably do quite a few. I've had lineups of maybe 10 or 15 coffee drinks before in my time.
In your time.
Yeah.
What brought you back here from San Francisco?
I don't know. I kind of wanted to get a taste of the New York City life, so I thought I'd come home, save up for a little bit. By the way, I grew up in Connecticut.
Whereabouts? What town?
West Hartford.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, what's happening now?
So now I'm just pulling the espresso.
Okay.
While that's pulling, we can get some milk ready into your pitcher.
And this is chilled. This is
Yes,
iced
this
down.
is chilled.
Okay.
You want your milk and pitchers as cold as possible because
Okay.
that'll give you the most ideal foam.
All right. How many competitions have you done?
I actually haven't done very many competitions, but as I said earlier, I definitely have been trained on a competitive level.
Well,
but I
you
never
need
really
to
got
get
that
going.
far. I know, I really should.
All right. So you
So that's
tamped that down
espresso.
for whatever reason and swirled it.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to break up the crema so that once you pour the milk into the cup, you get kind of more of an even
Okay.
layout
Note to
of
self,
the
I'll do
arch.
that. Now you're going to steam the milk.
So when you're steaming the milk, you can use the steam spout as kind of a guide, and you want it a little bit off center to make kind of like a whirlpool effect. And you can gently pull down just a little bit, but you don't need to pull down that much. And you just do this, just keep it in place, no zhuzhing necessary.
This is easy for you to say because you're trained.
Yeah. Just until it's hot enough to not be able to touch.
Okay. All right, very hot. All right.
You
So
can
now here
tap
comes
out
the magic,
any-
right? This is the magic part?
Yes, this is the magic part.
Can't wait to see
So
this.
you want your milk to look like wet paint, really nice and glossy.
Okay.
And you want to keep that whirlpool effect happening in the pitcher so that the foam doesn't stick to the edges as you're pouring your cappuccino.
This is the science part.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so it's all in the wrist action here.
So you start by just pouring in a little bit at a time. So you're about 2/3 of the way,
Okay.
and then you kind of pull back and then pull up.
Of course you do. And what is
And that's
that?
a rosette.
That's a rosette.
Yeah.
All right. The crew is going to love to taste this. How gorgeous is that? All right. Now we've got chocolate.
Oh, we've got some chocolate.
So now we're going to get into like almost a dessert coffee.
Yes, and this is kind of like a magician's trick that they don't like to tell the secret of because it's so fascinating to look at.
So, but you're going to tell us the secret. Sort
But
of.
it's so simple, right?
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to tell you the secret.
This is beautiful.
So we're going to
All right,
pour
milk
some more
again.
milk.
All right. Now, typically, would you put chocolate or cinnamon on top of this? Maybe, right?
You could, yeah,
But
definitely.
it's beautiful just the way it is. So we've got the espresso, the cafe latte with a rosette.
Yes, a rosette.
Now, what design will you make in this one with the chocolate?
I don't exactly know what it would be called, but it definitely looks similar to a flower.
And you learned this out in San Francisco as well?
Yeah, it's actually, there's tons of tutorials online as well that you can look at.
Do you mess around with them sometimes? Like, oh, I want to make this design, or let me do this for the
Yeah.
customer.
I've kind of tried to dabble in celebrity portraits as well.
Have you really?
Yeah, but
Who?
I've tried to do Mariah Carey once.
How'd it come out?
It didn't come out very well. But I've always been very.
Well, you're artsy, right?
Yeah, I'm very creative. I've always been creatively inclined. I've worked at many art museums.
What is it about coffee that you like so much, doing this?
I just love that there's so many different aspects to it, like really developing your palate for certain origins, and dialing in your espresso to kind of achieve different notes. Like some espresso blends have more floral notes to them, which I really like.
Who knew? I'm learning so much.
Yeah, there's so many aspects to espresso making.
So now again, you've poured in the espresso and you kind of swirled it.
Exactly.
Now we're going to steam the milk. And you're using 2%, what, whole milk? Or, yeah, you're using whole milk. Do you like whole milk or 2% or skim?
So ideally, for making latte art, whole milk is the best because it's fattier.
And it holds better.
Exactly.
Okay. And we don't care about calories. Whatever. We want it to look really good.
Right.
This is Instagrammable, by the way, which you know, of course.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, you're always cleaning off.
Always clean off the steam wand.
All right. Here's the chocolate. Swirling, swirling.
So this
So
one
here comes
we
the
use
magic
a little bit
particles.
more foam.
Okay. There's so much care that goes into this. And then pour on top of it.
Yeah, you want a really nice thick layer of foam for this.
Yeah.
All right, so
All right,
like
so
to
this
use
is
any kind of skewer of any
okay.
kind.
Toothpick, whatever you have.
Toothpick, exactly, whatever
Okay.
you have.
But that's much prettier.
And you take your chocolate, and I'm just going to make a few different rings.
It's gorgeous. All right, and this is the magic.
And it doesn't
part.
have to be perfect because
Of course
in the
not.
end it just looks so fascinating. So you want to work your way up about 6 times. And I like to go back just to make sure they're pretty definitive.
Uh-huh. We should
And
call
then
this
you
the
pull
Laura.
in.
Oh, okay. The opposite direction.
Exactly.
This is too pretty to drink.
Isn't it? But it's so simple. And I like to just do one drop in the middle. And there you have it.
Beautiful. Look at this. So we have the 3. Just absolutely gorgeous. Is there anything else that you want to show people? Because now I want to take lessons. You could give lessons.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Have you ever thought about that?
I have before, yeah. I mean, at Grano, I've definitely given some extensive espresso making and latte training there as well.
What's the best way to start with coffee art?
Definitely just getting your foam down, your micro foam, and yeah, you're steaming the milk down.
And when you serve this at the restaurant and someone is delighted by it,
Yeah.
you're delighted too, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Well, listen, I appreciate so much. We all don't have one of these, but that's okay. You can get the foam and you can, do your own latte. These are very beautiful, and thank you so much, Laura, for the lessons from
Thank
Grana
you.
Arso. Thank you so much, and we hope that you learned something.
Made a trivial pursuit, spend one this in. Who is this girl I spend all night kissing? And if one was right here, then who else is missing? Got a little sidetracked if I'm as a wish, and I find the keys to the door, but it's also a metaphor. Things keep locked in the grocery store, but mine just to save time. Skip right ahead to the nice ride.